job again. You guys are doing fantastic. I love the energy and love the effort every morning with you guys. All right, let's bring in Lori Bumgarner now. She's a career coach joining us. Lori, how are you? And good morning to you.
Good morning, Joe. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on Main Street. How are you?
I'm doing well. I saw your interview with Channel 2 this weekend. Great job. And I've known you for a while, and you do such a fantastic job. And I got to think, as a career coach and navigating people through all that's going on right now, that you're probably working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Have you ever seen anything like this?
I haven't. I mean, I don't think anyone's ever seen anything that's happened because of a pandemic. I mean, we've not experienced a pandemic before. And so no one knew what to expect. I think early on in the pandemic, a lot of people thought that they were going to be losing their jobs. I don't think a year later they thought they'd be leaving their jobs voluntarily if they had one. So, yeah, it's been unprecedented.
My mother always told me, never leave a job unless you have another job. And I think that advice is out the window these days. People are just unhappy and not putting up. There's a lot of reasons people leave jobs, but the ones that I know have left the jobs are just amazingly unhappy at work. How do we get to this point?
I think a lot of it has to do with, people are just really wanting to discover their purpose and work in their purpose and have a job where they know they're making an impact. And if they can't see that direct impact, if their employer can't show them how they're directly impacting the world or their company or the people that they serve, then they start to question that. And I think too, with the pandemic, people have realized, hey, I can work from home, and it actually kind of works better for them. And so that has a lot to do with it too. And, I've never had anyone come to me and say, I really want to leave my job because I just don't feel like I'm micromanaged enough.
Right.
That's another reason why a lot of people leave their jobs, some for another job, some to start their own thing.
The website, musiccitycareercoach.com. I love the panache. I love the website. I love what you do. What's the first thing when people come to you and say, look, I want to make a career change? What's the first thing you tell them?
Well, one of the things that I do differently from most career coaches is I don't immediately start them on a bunch of career assessments. That's what some people, when they come to me, they expect to see that. And I assure them, we're not going to start there because there's several reasons why. But a lot of people come to me mid-career wanting to do something different. And if they sit down and take a bunch of career assessments with the mindset and the lens that they've had on for the past several years, it's just going to tell them, hey, you'd be great at doing the thing you're trying to leave, which is very discouraging. So I usually want to start with them and helping them really rediscover who they are, what their skills are, what their interests are, by a different process than just career assessments or personality assessments.
When you do that, and do sometimes, because I don't know, if I'm sitting down talking to you and you're like, hey, let's do this different approach, and what are you good at, and here's what you're good at, I got to think that's a little positive reinforcement, because here you are telling me that even though I left a job and I'm kind of unsure what's going on right now, you're telling me and like giving me like, all right, you're good at this, you're good at that, and you're building this like agreement staircase of making me feel good. At least that's what I think I would take away from it.
Yeah, it is a little bit more encouraging, and I really love encouraging people. That's one of the gifts that I get to use in everything I do, especially in the career coaching I do with my clients. And so, yeah, I mean, a lot of clients come to me feeling beaten down just from the management of a past job, or being told, hey, you're just not a good fit. So let's help them find that fit. That's what I really want to help them do, because fit is so important on both sides of the desk. I mean, employers are looking for someone who's going to be a good fit for their culture, and the employee is looking for something or should be looking for something that's a good fit for them and their skills.
How did Lori Bumgarner become a career coach?
I have been a career coach for over 20 years. I've done it my entire career. I think I'm one of the few career coaches who's done career coaching their entire career, but I started out in college career services. I actually got my master's in higher ed administration, and there's a lot of different routes you can go with that, because there's a lot of different things in colleges and universities that someone can work in, a lot of areas they can work in. And career services was my focus. And actually, that's how you and I met when I was the assistant director of the Career Center at Vanderbilt, I had you come in and serve on a panel to speak to our students who wanted to go into media. So I want to thank you for doing that so many years ago. And now thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, I tried to talk all them out of going into media, and I hope I was successful in doing all that. That was a long time ago, and I do remember that. Thank you. And I got a nice little, was it a medallion or a little medal to come over there and do that? And so really thank you. I like this. On your website, musiccitycareercoach.com, the free thing, 8 steps to get you out of your career rut. Without giving all 8 away, what's the first step?
It really comes down to goal setting, but not just goal setting, is how to achieve your goals. And I walk you through that process in that 8-step plan. So it's not just like making New Year's resolutions. It's about setting goals that can actually be achievable and how to break those down into smaller steps. And that can be, for your career, or it can be things surrounding your career.
As you're sitting there talking, I'm reading your website, which is very in-depth, and I like your website. I've come to the conclusion that what you're a guidance counselor for adults.
Yes. Yeah, you could call it that. Exactly.
And my guidance counselor in high school was awful, but he was fun. So I'm glad there's a guidance counselor out there like yourself who is good at what they do in their job. And the reassurance we need, we don't need pats on the back every day, but you see, Lori, all these people leaving their jobs and they need direction. They need focus. This is like being a high school senior, but you're doing it for adults and doing it quite well.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm really interested in helping people pursue their purpose and their passions, but I also do it in a realistic way, because you have to be realistic. I understand that people have families that they've got to support. They've got mortgages to pay. So it's finding that balance between, making good money, making good choices, and doing what's in your purpose. And I like to have fun too. I actually have taken clients out paddleboarding before, because they just sometimes need a break from things, and it really clears their head, and they are able to make clear decisions after that.
Do you recommend, if somebody wants to reach out to you and they're going to quit their job, do you recommend don't quit their job right now? Let me talk to you, and because maybe they might have the perfect job, just don't realize it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Because sometimes it might just mean making a lateral move within your own company to a different department to be able to find that better fit. It could be a lot of different things, because I like to explore a lot of different options, a lot of different things. And that's one of the reasons too why I'm not really huge on starting off with career assessments in the beginning, is because a lot of the results of those career assessments aren't going to factor in some of those other options. They don't quite stay up to date with what's going on in the current world of work.
We're not paddleboarding today, are we?
Not today, but I have been known to paddle in the wintertime.
What the ignorant question from my perspective. Do you fall in, and what do you get out of it?
In this past 7.5 years I've been paddleboarding, I think I've fallen in twice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't get in the water to paddleboard. I have a little dock that I just, get onto my board. I don't have to get in the water, thank goodness. What do I get out of it? Oh gosh, I really just melts all my stress away. It clears my head, helps me think better, and it relaxes me. But at the same time, I'm getting a great workout in.
Paddleboarding might be in relation to a career change for those who haven't done it, to make that step, right? To make that faith. You've not done paddleboarding and maybe take a career change, but take that step of faith. Do you see the correlation between the two?
It's definitely, getting out of your comfort zone. When I've taken clients paddleboarding before for the first time, they're a little nervous. And so, for the first 20 minutes, all they're focusing on is not ending up in the water. But then after about 20 minutes of, giving them a little bit of instruction and then just talking with them, like, hey, what's been going on with you this past week as we're paddling down the water? It's like, okay, when was the last time you thought about falling in? And they're like, oh, come to think of it, I haven't thought much about that since we started. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's well done. Lori Bumgarner, musiccitycareercoach.com. Thank you for your time. Like I said, I saw you this weekend on TV. You're doing a great job with all this. And hopefully it all calms down in the future. I think it will. And I'm glad you're there to help people out, Lori. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Joe. Good to see you.
You too as well. Lori Bumgarner, musiccitycareercoach.com. And a lot of people, I mean, those numbers from the last quarter of 2021 were staggering. So many people quitting their jobs. And there's all these rhymes and reasons and different things that is going on for this. And so maybe it all calms down and people will find a job and be happy.